Chad, how you go? Chad, how you go? Listen. Can you just seal all the vents? Chad, listen. Seriously, listen. What do I do? Because I understand night one, nothing can kill me, but what do I do?
Yeah, you're done.
So listen. When I go to the map, who am I looking for? And when do I need to play the audio? When do I play the audio?
That went wrong. Hold up. I'm not good.
Hello and welcome to your new summer job at the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. I'm here to talk you through some of the things you can expect to see during your first week here and to help you get started down this new and exciting career path. Now, I want you to forget anything you may have heard about the old location. Some people still have a somewhat negative impression of the company. That old restaurant was kind of left to rot for quite a while, but I want to reassure you, Fazbear Entertainment is committed to family fun and above all, safety. They've spent a small fortune on these new animatronics, facial recognition, advanced mobility. They even let them walk around during the day. Isn't that neat? But most importantly, they're all tied into some kind of criminal database, so they can detect a predator a mile away. Heck, we should be paying them to guard you. Now, that being said, no new system is without its kinks. You're only the second guard to work at that location. The first guy finished his week, but complained about conditions. We switched him over to the day shift. So, hey, lucky you, right? Mainly he expressed concern that certain characters seemed to move around at night and even attempted to get into his office. Now, from what we know, that should be impossible. That restaurant should be the safest place on Earth. So while our engineers don't really have an explanation for this, the working theory is that the robots were never given a proper night mode. So when it gets quiet, they think they're in the wrong room. So then they go try to find where the people are, and in this case, that's your office.
What?
So our temporary solution is this. There's a music box over by the prize counter, and it's rigged to be wound up remotely. So just every once in a while, switch over to the prize counter video feed and wind it up for a few seconds. It doesn't seem to affect all of the animatronics, but it does affect one of them. And as for the rest of them, we have an even easier solution. You see, there may be a minor glitch in the system, something about the robot seeing you as an endoskeleton without its costume on and wanting to stuff you into the suit. So hey, we've given you an empty Freddy Fazbear head. Problem solved. You You can put it on any time and leave it on for as long as you want. Eventually, anything that wandered in will wander back out. Something else worth mentioning is kind of the quartz modern design of the building. You may have noticed there are no doors for you to close. But hey, you have a light, and even though your flashlight can run out of power, the building cannot. So don't worry about the place going dark. Well, I think that's it. You should be golden. Check the lights, put on the Freddy head if you need to. Keep the music box wound up. Piece of cake. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
And I think Toy Bonnie comes in here and Toy Chica. I've played this game in a long time. Yeah, it's something. Of course it was him. Yep. It's Toy Bonnie with the paper. You should be staying in there until... They all flipping move. Oh, heck no. Hi. It was you. Bro. Hi, Bonnie. Why you all get quirky at night? Like, bro. Where's Fortica at? Oh, she's still in there. Where's Fortica at? She's still in there. Yeah, no. I feel like he's gonna get close. Yeah, you were in here. I gotta log in. I'm scared. Why am I scared? Bro, this game is not scary. Shut up. I feel like Foxy's gonna start moving now. getting jump scared because I suck at horror. Yeah, I kind of do suck at. I do suck at horror games. I feel like you're gonna start moving. Somebody moved, and it was you. And Mango was here. And not the balloon child. Yeah. Girl! Why? Hello. And I think balloon blow in advance. You goddamn balloon child. Now it's toy bombing. You're still here? You're still here? Oh, leave! I'm scared. Okay, who's at the hallway now? No, fuck the. Oh my god, I switched cameras. No, you fucking chicken. Yeah, it is easy. How did Toy Freddy? I kind of gotta walk in. I think I gotta walk in so hard, remember? And Fox is there. Thank you. Who's at the hallway, bro? You again?
Hello.
And the Boys at the hallway. Who's at the hallway? I don't know. You're blocking the pantry, bear. I think Fox is at the hallway. Boy, you had to be on my nerves today, don't you? shut the phone window. Who's in this? You fucking delayed child. Oh my god. What did you say? I've been. Yeah, thank you. Ah, it's bright! Golly, that is bright. Yeah, I don't know what kind of wallpaper is. Yes, I'm looking at Fnaf models. Y'all, should I play Ultimate Custom Night? What was I gonna do again? Oops. How are you getting scared watching this? I don't know how, bro. I don't know how to help you. Oh, that's bright. Turn on that brightness. Yeah, I know. Golly, why is my PC so bright? Yo, Baldi's basic. Yo, what if I finance at Candies? Me. This is so real. What was I gonna do? I'm looking for it. I'm looking. Toy Bonnie looking at you like that. I found it. Ultra Custom Night. Of course I gotta watch an ad. Of course I gotta watch an ad. My ear's tweaking. "13 seconds remaining." Whoa. Oh yeah, I'm thinking about playing Joy of Creation. 8 minutes. My finger's itching. Yo, finance at Candies. Yes, I'm watching Queso. It's downloading. What the heck? Golly. Yeah. My nose is itching.
Hello?
What the heck?
Yo, she blowing my phone up. Yeah, I'm good. Sorry. Oh, I sent in pictures.
Oh, no copyright tonight. Ooh, they added Scooby-Doo. Nice.
Who is whistling?
Is that Jason?
Oh, nah.
It is.
Who's it? Who's there?
I don't know who that. I forgot. It was that who I think it is? Huggy Wuggy.
Chat, what should I do?
Yeah. Oof. Did it scream Ghostface? I do think Fnaf is scary sometimes. It's Huggy Wuggy in Fortnite. What is this? I'm waiting for my download to finish.
Five Nights at Freddy's is a franchise with over a decade's worth of content, spanning countless games, books, and now
Uh-huh.
reason that no matter whose timeline you watch, they all look different. Making a Fnaf timeline is not easy. There are so many ways you can interpret the story.
I'm gonna like the video.
Is fun. So let's start.
1983. This is where the.
Back in the 70s, a company called Fazbear Entertainment got its start by creating different props and mascot costumes for carnivals, and specifically
I think the Mimic was in one of the Fall Fest.
featured various mascot characters
Ooh.
such as a bird, an elephant, and the most popular of all, Fredbear and Bonnie. These specific mascot costumes were so popular, Fazbear Entertainment opened a dedicated restaurant for them called Fredbear's Family Diner, featuring the same Fredbear and Bonnie mascot costume.
So that's an old suit.
What Fazbear Entertainment
You played The Secret of the Mimic?
was one of their animatronics for the Fall Fest Golden Road.
That's Jackie from the Mimic.
Ending in a giant fire, with most of everything
And I think.
in the Fall Fest being destroyed.
Oh, W intro. Oh, Scooby-Doo. That was the Fortnitemares clip that I watched. The new Fortnite update. Well, I trust it. But, yeah. I wonder why.
The specifics about the animatronic that rode in the fire are unknown and will likely be revealed next year in FNAF's next big release. Although we don't know much about how this fire became
Oh, that's awesome. Yes, it is. Oh, I have to take piss. Don't you do it. I hear whispering, alright. Golly. I'm gonna get some snacks, y'all.
After the fire, Fazbear Entertainment started phasing out of the mascot costume era. They needed something new. The two men who helped found Fazbear Entertainment, William Afton and Henry Emily, stepped up to the plate. William Afton was mostly the businessman of the two, handling all of the money, while Henry was the more creative one, with him being in charge of building most of the animatronics and props for the company. With the Fall Fest era of the company coming to a close, they were only left with Fredbear's Family Diner, the standalone restaurant created for the Fredbear and Bonnie characters. In order to replace the mascot versions of Fredbear and Bonnie, Henry went to work on new versions of the characters, eventually creating the new Fredbear and Spring Bonnie, the same characters but with new designs and new suits. Henry called them Springlock suits. These suits are able to double as both an animatronic and a suit that the employees
I got my
to switch the
food.
suit from animatronic mode to suit mode, the employees could use a hand crank to pull back the animatronic parts, leaving room for them to climb inside. The spring locks that were helping to hold back those animatronic parts were very sensitive though, and with even a little bit of moisture, the spring locks could potentially snap shut, crushing and killing whoever was inside. But if
This
that
is
ended
my
up happening,
food.
Fazbear Entertainment had some common sense procedures set in place.
In case that the spring locks become loose while you are wearing a suit, please try to maneuver away from populated areas before bleeding out, as to not ruin the customer experience.
Fredbear's Family Diner ended up being super successful for William and Henry, so much so that other companies tried replicating it. Another company proceeded to rip off Fazbear
I knew that boy was a scam.
Entertainment's old mascot characters by creating their own
you don't get no
animatronic
Cheetos.
versions of them. The leader of the group was Ned Bear, a direct copy of Fredbear, followed by a hippo, an elephant, and a frog. All characters from the Fall Fest, and all with slightly different designs to avoid copyright issues. But while the rival company was able to replicate the designs, they could not replicate Henry's state-of-the-art technology. Their robots were poorly made, and had to have giant batteries with exposed wires on stage with them. Naturally, the rival company failed and ended up being bought out by Fazbear Entertainment. With all of the success from Fredbear's Family Diner, William and Henry decided to branch out and create more characters for a new restaurant. In 1983, William and Henry
How am I going to
opened
give
Freddy
you Cheetos
Fazbear's
from the
Pizza,
screen?
featuring Freddy Fazbear, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. With the opening of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, Fazbear Entertainment was experiencing success like they've never seen before. But with two restaurants now open at the same time,
how am I gonna
more
put this through the
success also
screen?
meant more work for William and Henry. The duo were so wrapped up in work that they started neglecting their own families. William was the father of 3 kids, the eldest, Michael, the crying child, and Elizabeth. The crying child has yet to have a 100% confirmed name, so for this video, he will just be called the crying child. Meanwhile, Henry had 1 kid, a daughter named Charlie. The business partners spent most of their days working, so they both created different ways of taking care of their kids. Henry was the robotics genius, so he used his talents to create a new animatronic to watch Charlie for him. It was called the security puppet. This animatronic would sit by the door of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza and make sure that Charlie wasn't able to leave the building. This made it so Charlie could play at the restaurant while Henry worked, without Henry having to worry about her leaving the building or getting kidnapped. The robot was linked directly to a green bracelet that Charlie was wearing. If Charlie, wearing the green bracelet, tried leaving the building, the security puppet would spring into action. William, on the other hand, was the businessman of the company. He cared more about making money, but also saving money. Naturally, he decided to just force his eldest son, Michael, to babysit while he was at work. Michael was mostly in charge of babysitting the crying child. The crying child didn't have many friends, but he did have a close relationship with his plushies. These plushies...
Plushies? Why does Michael
Were
tore
of
up the
characters
head
from
of
his
the
favorite
fox
show,
flesh. I
Fredbear and
forgot.
Friends, Fazbear Entertainment's newest cartoon, featuring Fredbear, Freddy, Bonnie,
No, I'm watching the timeline.
Chica, and Foxy. The crying child's favorite character, though, was Fredbear. He especially loved his Fredbear plushie. Although he loved the plushie version of the characters, the animatronics
Like
would
Vinny
soon
and
become
Glitch
a
Trout, what the
different
heck?
story. One day, while visiting Fredbear's family diner, the crying child saw something that would scar him for the rest of his life. While wandering the restaurant, he walked by the employees only room, where an employee accidentally
Oh, I
left the
get
door
hiccups.
open. Inside the room was
I'm figuring Michael's in this suit. That's my theory.
his father, William Afton, helping another employee
I feel
into
like
a
Michael's in that suit, but I don't
Bonnie
know.
suit. But through the eyes of the crying child, this looked like someone was literally being stuffed into an animatronic suit. The crying child was so young that he wasn't educated on how the mascot characters worked, so seeing a human be put inside of one terrified him. When a child experiences something traumatic, their brain naturally tries finding ways to deal with that trauma. The crying child's way of dealing with his trauma was by creating an imaginary friend. This imaginary friend took the form of the object he loved the most, his Fredbear plushie. His new imaginary friend Fredbear followed him wherever he went, shape-shifting into flowers, hiding behind cars and in the sewers, with nobody being able to see him
I'm
except for the
infected.
crying child. When the crying child was overwhelmed, the plushie would talk to him and try to calm him down. Even when the plushie wasn't around, it was still able to speak to him because it lived in his mind. While the crying child was dealing with the trauma of seeing what he thinks was someone being stuffed into a suit, his brother Michael was only making it worse. Michael knew about what happened with his younger brother and used it against him. Every day while babysitting the crying child,
They're coming straight.
I just got mad.
Trust me. I've got... Nothing.
Michael would put on a Foxy mask, hide somewhere in the house, and jump scare his little brother.
Ooh, animation W. I think it's because Michael tore it off to, like, I don't know, that's people, oh, that's my friend saying.
From the pizzeria to your living room, you no longer have to wait to sing and dance with Fredbear and Friends. Weeknights at 8, 7 Central. Only on...
Turn that TV off. Ow. Oof. Yeah, Michael's gonna be under the bed.
Through all of Michael's bullying, the crying child's imaginary friend Fredbear would comfort him and talk him through the situation, saying, "You know he is hiding again. Be careful. Tomorrow is another day." Michael wasn't the only one bullying the crying child, though. The local kids in the neighborhood heard about why the crying child was so scared of the pizzeria, even making up fake rumors related to what the crying child thought he saw there. "You'd better watch out. I hear they come to life at night. And if you die, they hide your body and never tell anyone." But all of this bullying would come to a head on one special day, the crying child's birthday. Ironically, his birthday party was being held at Fredbear's family diner. Because he was so terrified of being at the pizzeria, he hid under the table, not knowing that Michael and his friends were nearby, planning a prank that would go terribly wrong.
Yeah, I do hate spelling. Sometimes my phone be tweaking.
Make sure you grab your pizza. Fredbear and Spring Bonnie will be performing in 5 minutes.
Michael!
Michael and his friends lifted the crying child up to, quote, give Fredbear a big kiss, and Fredbear bit down on him, leaving his body to go limp. Michael and his friends quickly stopped laughing. Because of Michael's immature behavior, his terrified younger brother paid the ultimate price. Although the crying child was badly hurt, he didn't immediately die. Because of the immense brain damage, he slipped into a coma. After being treated at a hospital, the crying child was taken home so he could be comfortable, surrounded by his only friends, his plushies. In the crying child's final moments, Michael decides to apologize for what he's done, saying, "Can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me. I'm sorry." After Michael speaks, the crying child's imaginary friend Fredbear, created out of the trauma he experienced, continues doing what it's done the whole time. It comforts him, saying, "You're broken. We are still your friends. Do you still believe that? I'm still here. I will put you back together." This would be the final thing the crying child hears before he dies. The crying child's spirit would then live on in the Fredbear suit, the thing that took his life. The crying child's death wasn't just an accident. It was directly caused by Michael's recklessness. This is something that Michael could potentially face jail time for, so it needed to be covered up. Since the crying child was being kept at home, no one else knew that he ended up passing away. So William and Michael ended up burying the crying child's body in the middle of the woods where no one would find him. No tombstone, no flowers, just a pile of dirt, an unmarked grave, and a lifetime's worth of guilt that Michael would have to live with. Shortly after the incident, Fredbear's family diner was quickly shut down, and Fredbear was completely wiped from existence. The Fredbear and Friends TV show turned into Freddy and Friends on tour. The Fredbear and Spring Bonnie Springlock suits also ended up being moved into the back room of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, mainly being used as spare suits if one of the Freddy's animatronics broke down. The death of William Afton's youngest son was a pivotal moment in this story, specifically William Afton's story. This was the first domino to fall. A father losing his son is a traumatic situation, and while any other father would take time to grieve, be sad, and properly deal with such a big loss, William Afton took a different route. Afton definitely was upset about his son dying, but it wasn't because he felt bad for his son. It was because it was embarrassing to him. William Afton was a narcissist. He had little to no empathy. All he cared about was work and comparing himself to his business partner, Henry. Henry had a wife, a kid, and a talent for robotics that Afton was utterly...
Henry had a wife? Yeah. Golly.
jealous of. The death of the crying child sent Afton over the edge because while Henry's family was still perfect, his was now broken. Henry and William had different ways of taking care of their kids, and while Afton employing his eldest son failed, Henry's security puppet succeeded. Henry's daughter Charlie lived on. Afton had a hard time dealing with this feeling of embarrassment. He started becoming an alcoholic, frequently visiting the local bar called Junior's. One night though, after drinking a little too much and getting kicked out of the bar, he decided that he was going to settle the score with Henry. Afton, drunk and filled with rage, drove from the bar to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where he knew Charlie was being watched over by Henry's security puppet. Afton planned on risking everything to kill Henry's daughter Charlie. He didn't care if he got caught, and he didn't care if he went to prison. But when Afton got to Freddy's, he noticed that Charlie was standing outside by herself. It turned out that some bullies were able to trap the security puppet in its box and lock Charlie outside the building, giving Afton the perfect opportunity to kill Charlie outside of the pizzeria. The security puppet was eventually able to escape its box and went looking for Charlie. As Afton sped away, the puppet noticed that Charlie was outside in the pouring rain. It then did what it was programmed to do and went to protect her. But as the puppet got closer to Charlie's body, the rain started making it short circuit. It was forced to crawl its way over to her until the rain got to be too much and the puppet shut down right next to Charlie's body. While Charlie and the puppet lay lifeless next to each other, Afton was speeding home, driving right past where he buried his son and the bar he got kicked out of. When Afton got home, he was met with his wife sitting in the living room watching TV and Michael in his bedroom. Afton was a drunk and abusive father and fully blamed Michael for what happened to his youngest son. Mrs. Afton tells him to leave Michael alone because he's had a tough day, but Afton doesn't listen. He goes over to Michael's room and pounds on the door, only for the door to be locked. He then makes his way around the house to try and find a way in from the outside, but once he gets to to Michael's bedroom window, he notices that it's broken, and Michael was gone. Michael was so upset by what he did to his brother that he would sometimes see visions of Fredbear appear and disappear. Tonight, Fredbear appeared outside his bedroom window, and it almost felt like his brother was calling out to him from beyond the grave. This would happen frequently, and every time it did, Michael would run to the spot where they buried his younger brother, only to find that nothing had changed. His younger brother was—
No, that's William's wife, is Bora. I don't know. I'm confused. I didn't know he had a wife. Well, I know he probably did, but it never showed in the Fnaf series. Oh, I'm so confused. Oh, bro.
still gone and buried in the ground. Afton knew Michael did this often, saying, "Ran off to that place again. He will be sorry when he gets back." The guilt of killing his younger brother haunted Michael in his real life, but also in his dreams. Michael would constantly have nightmares about the animatronic that took his brother's life. These were the exact same nightmares his younger brother used to have every night, now passed on to him.
Oh boy.
After the death of Charlie, Fazbear Entertainment tried their best at covering it up. Fortunately for them and for William, the crime was committed outside, where no one was around to witness it. William was able to get away with everything, while Fazbear Entertainment never spoke of the incident again. The security puppet was quickly moved to the back room of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where the retired Fredbear and Spring Bonnie suits resided. But something was different about the security puppet. Dark tears now appeared on the mask of the animatronic. Dark tears that weren't there before. This is something that Afton quickly noticed the next day when he went into work. He'd heard about what happened moments after he sped off. He knew the security puppet was found laying next to Charlie's body. So does that mean Charlie's soul now resided in the puppet? William definitely noticed that the puppet looked different, almost like it was haunted, almost like it was thinking. Other employees would eventually notice the same thing.
I'll be honest, I never liked that puppet thing.
Bro, even phone guy didn't even like it.
And it can go anywhere.
After realizing the security puppet may be possessed by the spirit of Charlie, Afton went back and looked at the crying child's Fredbear plushie, only to find that it also seemed to be haunted. The crying child feared for his life every single day, and that plushie was something he was able to cry and pour his agony into. Afton believed that this is what caused the plushie to appear haunted. It wasn't made alive by the spirit of his son, it was made alive by the agony and fear his son poured into it. Afton quickly became obsessed with the concept
bro, I feel like people in horror movies are stupid. They just run and somehow fall, like on something. They just don't even get up.
Objects, and more specifically, the power of human emotion. He needed to find out if this is something he could take advantage of. Afton then used all of his money he made from Fredbear's and Freddy Fazbear's Pizza to build a giant
He has that much
underground
cash?
facility directly under his house. It was here that he would try to recreate what happened with his son, to recreate the fear and agony he experienced. In order to do this, Afton didn't take any chances. He needed to replicate exactly what his son went through every every day. In order to do this, Afton built a replica of his house underground, along with his son's daily walk to Fredbear's family diner. He also built a makeshift bedroom where he could force kids to have the same nightmare every night. Afton would sit in his office watching them on the cameras that could be accessed using the passcode 1983, the year his son got bit. He also kept the crying child's Fredbear plushie on the desk as a reminder of what he was trying to replicate. In the makeshift bedroom, there were dummy animatronics that wheeled down the hallway. But the kids wouldn't see them as just blank dummies on wheels. Afton would pump hallucinogenic gas into the room to get the kids to think that what they were seeing was a monster. These nightmare gas canisters were being stored all throughout his underground facility, and on the bed of this makeshift bedroom was a Freddy plushie, in the hopes that the kids would pour their fear and agony into the plush, like his son did to his plushie. On the other side of the bunker, where Afton recreated the crying child's walk to Fredbear's, he placed a bunch of Fredbear plushies all over the place. These Fredbear plushies had walkie-talkies inside of them. This was Afton's way of recreating his son's imaginary friend that would talk to him wherever he went. Afton would speak to the kids through his walkie-talkie sitting in his private office. After setting up the bunker, Afton was only missing one more thing: the kids to run these experiments on. He needed a way to kidnap and capture kids without being caught, and he had the perfect way to do it.
I know.
The show will begin.
I just crash out. Like, I just go out of the movie like, bro, I'm never watching a
Enter
horror movie
Circus
ever
Baby
again.
and the Funtime animatronics. These robots were specifically built by Afton to capture
It's
kids,
so
featuring Circus
stupid.
Baby, Funtime Freddy, Funtime Foxy, and Ballora. They feature advanced technology such as parental tracking, voice mimicking / luring, and storage tanks. Circus Baby, the star of the group, was even able to make ice cream as a way to lure kids to her. Once the kid got too close, a giant claw would reach out, grab them, and lock them in the animatronics storage tank. Some of the board members from Fazbear Entertainment were suspicious of these new animatronics.
She can dance. She can sing. She's equipped with a built-in helium tech for inflating balloons right at her fingertips. She can take song requests. She can even dispense an ice cream.
With all due respect, those aren't the design choices we were curious about, Mr. Afton.
Afton even created a new restaurant for these animatronics called Circus Baby's Pizza World. Elizabeth, William Afton's daughter, was fascinated by Circus
not
Baby.
Elizabeth.
All she wanted to do was play with her, but Afton wouldn't let her.
Daddy, why won't you let me play with her? You let the other children go see her. Why won't you let me go?
He strictly told her to stay away from the animatronic, but one day she didn't listen. On the opening day of Circus Baby's Pizza World, another domino would fall in Afton's life, and Elizabeth would soon be the victim of his terrible misdeeds.
I can do something special. Did you know that? I can make ice cream, although I only did it once. What a wonderful day, though. I was in a small room with balloons and a few tables. I would always count the children. I'm not sure why. They usually played together in groups of 2 or 3. There were 4, then 3, then 2, then 1. Time to play.
No, Elizabeth, don't.
Ice cream. Something happened when there was one. I was no longer myself. There was screaming for a moment, but only for a moment.
In an instant, Elizabeth was grabbed by Circus Baby and thrown into her stomach hatch. The sheer force of her being grabbed and thrown into the robot's storage tank was enough to kill her almost instantly. This is something that William wasn't able to test. That was until his daughter became the test. William Afton now lost another one of his kids, but this time it was all his fault. After just one day of being open, Circus Baby's Pizza World was shut
Hold
down.
up.
Afton covered up the incident by telling the
see
public
something.
that the restaurant